So as a part of our discussion, we have started with matplotlib. One minute, friends. Let me check. Hope you're hearing now. Yeah. So as a part of this particular visualization, we have seen matplotlib kind of the aspects. Now let me introduce you the aspect of the Seaborn library. So this particular Seaborn library, it is also built on top of matplotlib, because in matplotlib we have seen some of the examples like plotting and as well as some kind of the box plot and scatter plot, some kind of the histogram. Like that, we have done some kind of the visualizations on top of the matplotlib. And coming to the Seaborn, okay, so we are going to use this library, import Seaborn as SNS. Okay, how we have done in case of import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. So if you see this SNS kind of thing, then it is relevant to the Seaborn general naming convention. So we are having many graphs here, friends. Maybe scatter plot, histograms, heat map. Okay, just I will give you the scenario and we'll take some kind of the data set, and then we are going to work with various kinds of the graphs. Okay, so as far as if you are considering these kind of the notation, so as usual we have imported numpy, pandas, matplotlib, and as well as the SNS. So just what I'm taking here is this is the sales data basically we are having, and this particular sales data is related to the information like the division of the sales and the level of education by those guys, and training level given to the corresponding persons and their work experience, salary, and as well as the sales. So like at the moment I'm talking about these kind of the conventions. We try to get some kind of the insights of the data, because in the beginning of every visualization, so the visualizations are mainly for the sake of okay understanding the insights and patterns of the data. Okay, so in that particular case, just you can make use of the same kind of the intent in the Seaborn also. We'll try to observe some of the points from this corresponding data set, because this particular data set is containing some sales information along with some kind of the columns, okay, features. Now here we are having 1,000 rows, okay, with the 6 columns, friends, where these 1,000 rows are combination of all these data items with these 6 columns. Okay, now what I'm doing here is just to be cautious, friends. Now if you observe matplotlib also we are making use in addition to the Seaborn, because how you can integrate with NumPy and Pandas, we have seen many examples related to that. Similarly, we are also having this association of matplotlib and as well as the Seaborn library, SNS kind of thing. Okay, and then once that is over, so just you can refer okay this particular data item, whatever we are having, and now observe, friends, here. So let me run this particular code without this PLT first, and let me show you what exactly this scatter plot we know. So which is salary and as well as the sales. Whether is there any impact of salary and sales? Is there any correlation between those two? Just let me run this. So you can see some kind of the diagram. Okay, definitely as the salary is increasing, obviously the sales, okay, dependent on this particular salary is also increasing. That the persons who are getting highest salary or contributing to the sales also. Now, one more thing, friends, because this diagram, which is looking like some kind of the simple notation. 1 minute, guys. Yeah, if you refer this particular thing, friends, it is showing some kind of the diagram. Whereas if you want to magnify this, so certain aspects are there. If you remember, friends, just we are having the PLT in the earlier session, we worked with the PLT only completely because this particular PLT is the reference of that matplotlib actually. So what we are doing is just we are making use of the figure, and here we can specify the size. Okay, 10 and 4, just so as to elaborate and DPI. So let me show you what exactly this figure does. Okay, so it is making use of some kind of okay. So create a new figure or activate an existing figure. See how nice the documentation is. Just it is activating the existing one. And here we are having the resolution dots per inch. So suppose if I want to strongly, if I want to specify some kind of information or some kind of the display in the powerful manner, in a colorful manner, so I can make use of this particular DPI. Okay, so now you see the difference, friends. Here, see how it is elaborated. So just like that, you can make use of this particular convention rather than using a small diagram. Just I can elaborate this thing with a small thing like figure size I can extend and DPI. Okay, so this is how you can specify the usage of this particular scatter plot. Right now, one important thing, friends, because here I am having various parameters in case of this scatter. Okay, so 1 minute, maybe some issue. Okay. Okay, now if you refer these friends, just I am adding some more columns. As you know, in case of the scatter plot, initially we have to specify the data because initially we loaded our data into data one. So obviously this data is related to data one, and x-axis salary and y-axis sales. I am not changing anything. And thereafter, friends, I want to refer the level of education. That means, see, I am pulling one more criteria here, like, rather than only involving sales and salary, is there any impact of level of education? Now you observe here these circles, some college degree or associate degree, high school, bachelor degree, master's degree, like that I'm having some kind of representation here, legend kind of things, where with the help of these, okay, with the salary and as well as the sales, I want to identify, okay, with these kind of representation also. I want to embed the level of education also. So this is one more important thing you can specify. Rather than specifying the number, you are specifying the level of education. And another thing is this X value salary remains same and sales also remain same, and hue, this is very interesting, friend, because this hue is something. Let me open this documentation so that we can have a look on this. So just if you are observing, grouping variables that will produce points with different colors can either be categorical or numerical, although the color mapping will be behave differently in later case. That means hue is something like which is adding some more level of things. Okay, so here what I'm doing is rather than specifying as the size, I want to give this as a hue, like, okay, so just you can run this, friends. Now you see a simple, okay, better than earlier thing, because in the size we may not completely observe, okay, what exactly the some college degree, associate degree, high school or bachelor or masters. Now you can see here the green colored and all these different levels of education, because we are having different levels of educations and all, so that one can easily observe, so how we can refer. And coming to the alpha value, so again we are going back to this particular documentation. What exactly it does is this particular alpha. Okay, so I always strongly recommend you guys, just you can whenever there is a chance, just you jump into this particular documentation, because simply it is giving alpha proportionally opacity of the points. So how impact and how see the way. the glazing kind of thing you can get with respect to this particular point. Okay, so this is how you can refer the alpha value and hue value. And hue you are we are using many at times, friends. Okay, so these are all nothing but the scatter plots. So scatter plot, just we started with a scatter plot, and we need to specify. Okay, we have to specify the kind of the data and as well as the x-axis and as well as the y-axis. Simply you can get this thing, but we have magnified that with the help of the matplotlib, and there you can see the better diagram. And next important thing is there are two options. Either you can use size so as to embed the third feature, or else you can use the hue. Okay, so as to estimate how these particular things are behaving in the context of the level of education. Now, there are certain aspects, friends, actually distribution plots. Distribution in the sense how our data is distributed, and we want to identify the level of distribution related to our data. So just what we are doing is here, just we are making use of some various options. Initially, we have taken, as usual, the rug plot actually. Okay, so this particular plot, just if you observe the RUG plot, which is giving a plot marginal distributions by drawing ticks along the x and y axis. Just you observe this. This is intended to complement other plots by showing the location of individual observation in an unobserved way. Okay, so just it is not following any distribution, friends. Just we are making use of rug plot to identify so whether x and y have a strong relation or something like that. Okay, so if you see from this particular portion, okay, so this particular portion is having complete association of x and y, but remaining things only few aspects you can say greater than this thing and all these aspects. Okay, so likewise you can have sales and as well as the height, and you can mention the other aspects also. Let me give you another thing. Okay, so just if you are referencing the level of education, now you see it is saying something. Okay, it is not giving, could not convert float and all. Okay, so that means all the things may not be given. And one more thing, friends, here all the aspects. Okay, so whatever we are running, maybe periodically the Seaborn is leveraging some new aspects. So just you can make use of the convention. Where do we use the aspects and all? That is also important. So this rug plot is something like which is used to observe the clear association of x and y kind of the values. Now again, histogram plot, it is not new for us, which is we have observed in our matplotlib. Okay, so this particular thing is as usual, it is expecting the data and it is giving the we are taking the salary. Now we want to histogram means what, friend? Just we are combining or specifying some aggregation. So what we are doing here is just if you are running this thing, obviously it is saying that okay, so how many numbers are there? Okay, how many members are there who are getting this much salary? Okay, so like that at each and every salary level, we'll be getting some count of the data. So this particular count helps us to observe, oh, these guys are more. Okay, these many guys which are who are residing between these particular ranges are getting high salary. And if you see the up to this particular range, very low salary kind of thing, and more salary getting members also very less. Okay, from this particular data set. So our histogram, histoplot is something like where you can, if you want to observe the how the distribution, because the plot itself is a distribution plot. Na? Out of this distribution plots, we are having rug plot and as well as the histogram plot and KDE. Okay, so now this particular histogram plot is giving that uh, how many members are there related to that particular salary range. And coming to one more thing, now I can show you the display plot. So this particular plot gives that some KD. You can see, friends, here how the distribution of the data is. So just it has started. It is looking like a normal distribution curve. So bell-shaped kind of the curve. So to identify that particular thing, you can specify the KDE. Okay. So just what you are referencing here is just let me introduce what exactly that KDE is, because we are having the KDE plot also. The KDE specifies that. Okay, just let me show you that. Many things were there, friends. Okay, so KD somewhere, yeah, colors and hue, order, palette, legend. Yeah, rug, if true, show each observation with marginal text. Already we have seen the kind of the plot, friends. Here, maybe that is a histogram, KD or ECDF like that. Now, our interest is along with the display, I want to perform some kind of the observation, pinpointing of those things. In what way my distribution of the data is there. For that particular thing, you can observe the KDE kind of thing. So simply, it is specifying some liner. Okay, based on that particular liner, I can say, oh, how the movement of the data, how the distribution of the data is there. Okay. Now the KDE plot, friends. Exclusively, we are having the KDE plot. So this particular plot, what it refers is, just have a look on this. Plot univariate or bivariate distributions using kernel density estimation. Density means, friends, actually density means the number. So how many numbers are there related to a particular category or related to a particular qualification or related to a particular designation? All these things are playing a vital role. So especially if you are referencing the kernel density estimation, it is exclusively for the sake of okay understanding or observing which kind of the data are having more numbers. Okay, so those kind of thing, which is nothing but a kernel density estimate plot is a method for visualizing the distribution of observation in a data set. Okay, and which is similar to the histogram. KD represents the data using a continuous probability distribution. There just now we have seen density curve in one or more dimensions. Okay, so maybe if I am using this kind of thing, it is clearly showing that the salary is following a normal distribution. Okay, like that, this curve, bell-shaped curve of curve kind of thing. Oh, some other graphs, because in case of the Seaborn, we are having the plenty of examples. That's what I want to give you a glance of all these different categories, though we are not using all these kind of the things, but still learning of or practicing of these things may be helpful. Okay, so whenever you are performing some kind of the visualizations, you can pick up some of the aspects, whatever you are interested. Okay, now if you are referencing this thing, actually these are all the categorical. Friends, there is a concept in the data science and data engineering streams also. We have seen some categorical data, like they are giving some categorical, okay, t-shirt sizes, blood groups, all those kind of things. Okay, for those kind of the aspects, I want to estimate. Within this, we are having different things, friends. One is the related to the statistical estimation with the categories. Okay, so those things are nothing but count plot, bar plot, okay, and categorical. So these are all various plots we're having. Count plot, what is the count based on each and every category of the data, we can go with the count. And bar plot, we know, so just it is giving a chart kind of thing. And categorical, so maybe if I want to segregate on type of the data, okay, so that I can use the categorical. Whereas distribution across the categories, again within the categorical, okay, we are having some distribution related to the category, like I can use the box plot, violin plot, swarm plot, or box and plot. Only the thing is, friends, commonly just to remember, we have to send the data as a parameter to any kind of the graph, and you can give the x coordinate and as well as the y coordinate in every case. Okay, so but here if you are referencing the count plot, our interest is only the division. Okay, now you see from the data set, this particular division is giving us the kind of the data, which kind of the peripherals they are giving, printers, peripherals, office supplies, all these kind of the data. Okay, now if you refer these kind of the data, I want to observe. So what is the count of the corresponding division? Now, at the moment you refer printers up to some 250 range, okay, and peripherals and office supplies division is really doing well, and computer hardware and as well as the computer software. So that means maybe they are having some kind of information, because we are only seeing the data explicitly. We have not received any complete information. Assume that in that case, just we are trying to observe the impact. Maybe they are preserving for the future case, or maybe they would have sold these particular things in a particular season. Okay, in that context, you can refer. Now the count plot, maybe I can give the count plot in various aspects, like, this time I want to verify the level of education and how many members were there accordingly, and I want to correlate whether these level of education is having any impact on division sales or maintenance of these divisions. Okay, just like that we are making use of the convention. Now you can run this. What is the use of this PLT figure, friends? Yes, okay. That means we are having the matplotlib support, and we want to magnify our data, and we want to come up with some kind of the nice magnification of the data. You can perform the aspect. And one more thing, the count plot. So just we are giving the parameters as data one, a level of education. Hue already we have seen. This particular hue is replacement of that particular size, which will give the legends of the corresponding data. And palette, the color combinations and all. Okay. So now you see count. However, as we are using the count plot, it is saying y-axis as a count, and all our x-axis is nothing but your level of education. Okay, so just it is giving count. Apart from that, it is saying that in some college, okay, the persons who are working in this division, okay, maybe printers and peripherals, all these we want to associate who are all they in this particular division. Okay, and master's degree candidates are very less, friends. You can easily observe. That means in the divisions, master's degree candidates are very less, and others, some college, associate degree, high school level of education, bachelor degree, and master's degree, all those things are there. Okay. Now, apart from these kind of the conventions, we are having the bar plot. In the earlier example, we have seen some kind of the bar plot, friends. Like there we have used some logarithmic function also. Some log, maybe if you recollect, there is a scaling issue. Like the numbers are spread more, and in that particular case, we cannot observe the corresponding criteria. So in that particular case, just you can have a look of just these whatever the values we're having, whatever the scales, just I can manage with the log file so that I can see the information in a better way. Now, if you see the bar plot, so just they are giving now this time we are sending the same data, office sales, level of education in the x-axis, and salary. So is there any correlation between level of education and salary? Now, what is the estimator? Because while estimating, friends, we are using the mean value and as well as the standard deviation. Okay. Now, just try to give the documentation. Let us see the bar plot, because some more points we are seeing actually. Now, the show point, this we know, bar plot represent the estimation central tendency. Okay, central tendency values are mean, median, and mode kind of thing. And here we are using the standard deviation also. Is there any differentiation or variance related to these kind of the aspects? XY, however, we are using CI, which is nothing but a confidence interval to draw around estimated values. Suppose I'm having some kind of the values. Based on those kind of the estimated values, I want to perform some kind of the outcome. So mean and as well as the standard deviation we are using so as to come up with the bar plot. And one more thing, friends, this legend is something which is helping us to get the appropriate information. Like, suppose if I'm plainly using this legend, uh, let us see what exactly the outcome. So just you can see here, friends. Okay, so just it is showing that some college, associate degree, high and all salary. So because we have clearly mentioned y-axis is in salary, okay, whatever the values we're having, and this particular x is containing all the levels of education. Now, the criteria, we may not get the mean and as well as the confidence interval directly. So, because here it is saying some warning, friends, legend, though we are using, there are no specific pointers there, so that it is saying that, and you can comment this. Okay, you can comment this and you can perform normal running. Okay, because there is no legend is there. That's what it is saying like that. So this is one criteria. And now this is office sales kind of thing where you can refer these kind of the understanding. Next, one more data set we are having, friends, the student performance actually. So let us load this data first and try to just observe the kind of features we are having. We are having the gender and a race, okay, some group and parental level of education. And whether assume that the scenario is like this, maybe the World Bank is giving them some kind of provision and they are sponsoring them because of the poorness or because of it is sponsoring to the country. Okay, so like that, and they're having some kind of the test preparation course, whether they have completed or not as a prerequisite, and their maths score, reading score, and as well as the writing score. So this is the actual data. So which is trying to give the information about the students, and the students are tested based on some kind of the scores and all. Now we'll try to perform some kind of the activities here, friends. Okay, I mean to say, suppose I am having some data and maybe the agency who are sponsoring them, they want to estimate the outcome, because generally while sponsoring, definitely they see the outcome, whether we are spending, okay, we are spending this much, and how do I get, okay, in what way we are allowing them to work with, whether our sponsorship is really going well, or do we need to modify anything, or we need to change any strategy, those kind of things. Okay, now let us have a look on this, friends. Now we are observing from the available data. Now this time we are taking data 2, and what we are doing is just we are seeing that how the math score of the students. Okay, so math score here, most of the members got 60 to 80, not bad. Okay, they are performing well, and some maximum, minimum is of course around some 30 or something like that. Okay, so it is showing that na, and maximum is of course some people scored that particular thing also. Now the second criteria what we are testing is just we are highlighting these particular diagram in such a way that we are taking the test preparation course, whether they have completed or not, is a categorical data na, if you see here, none completed, like that. And second thing is their math score. Is there any relevancy, or is there any observation we can do among these test preparation and as well as the math score? Let us run this, friends. Okay, now what you can observe is the persons who have completed this particular test preparation, completed and none, and along with the math score, they can able to observe, we can able to observe both none and as well as the completed members are equally performing well, friends. Okay, it doesn't mean that though they have not done with the test, but still you can see they are also able to score some good marks and all. uh, but minimum score is for the none. Okay, the members who have not completed the test preparation, we can see some little bit less maths score. But whereas the persons who have completed that particular test preparation course, they could able to score more, friends. Okay, the criteria, that means now what we're doing from later point of time, what you can do is you can mandate that, because some of the members are not performing well and they are scoring the minimum marks. So in a way, what you can do is you can have a look off. Okay, so just I can make use of the convention, like I can do that specification. Okay, so what exactly the data is, and how do I change the strategy. Okay, so like that you can observe. Now, one more thing, friends, here in the same box plot. So here, as I am having only two criteria, whether they have completed or not completed, these two are there. But sometimes there is a observation, like what we're doing is we have taken the parental level of education, and is there any correlation between the math score of the members? See, friends, these are all, you may ask me why we need to do all these things. Just to play around the data, friends. Okay, because and to be frank, all these kind of things may not be useful in our analysis also. But as these many things were there, I thought of showcasing these aspects with you so that you can pull either of these aspects based on your interest or based on the suitability, so that we can come up with some a nice analogy. Okay, now our interest here is here we are pulling three important aspects which we feel that we may estimate. One is the parental level of education. Second is the student math score and test preparation course. Okay, three things we have embedded here. Let us run this. This time we have used this particular matplotlib support also to magnify the image. Now observe friends here. Just spend some time so that you can easily get the things. So these guys, so bachelor degree, who are the parental, okay, and the parents are having some college degree and master's degree members and as well as associate degree members and high school, and thereafter some high school. High school and some high school means maybe they are not, they would have not completed their school education also. So now this blue colored is test preparation not completed, and these are the completed. In all these cases, friends, the considerable difference you can observe here. The persons, okay, the parents who are having bachelor degree, more members were completed. Okay, and similarly here also some college degree and master's degree guys both. Okay, non-completed members are there and completed members are there. Okay, out of those things, associate degree little high, completed members are more, and here also equally likely, and here also. So that means in all the cases, the completed test preparation completed members are the persons, okay, irrespective of all these kind of their parental degree, but a little high, who are having bachelor and as well as some college degree, they can score little high. I mean, they could able to complete the test preparation course. Okay, so this is how you can embed different categories of features, maybe the parental level of education, math score, and as well as the test preparation. And then these plots may not be helpful more friends because they are there. Just I thought of giving you this violin plot. Just what we are doing is in our data we are having the reading score also, along with the math score and writing score. We are having the reading score also, maybe to check their vocabulary and how they are pronouncing, and based on that particular convention, the university may be putting these guys into these various practices. Okay, so initially what we are doing is we are loading our data and we are picking up this X value as the reading score. And second is the parental level of education. We are trying to observe, is there any correlation between, the parental level of education and as well as the reading. So if you see some other criteria are there. So splitting, yes, I want to split, and inner quartile means friends, actually we have seen 25 percentage, 50 percentage, that quartile range actually. Okay, so just we thought of giving these kind of the conventions. Now if you run this particular violin plot, so as looking like this violin, that's what they have mentioned this name, and we're having the reading scores high, and correspondingly we are having the bachelor degree. So just you can see almost all. Okay, so all members are performing irrespective of their degree, parental level of education. So all members are good able to perform this reading score. Okay, and apart from that, we're having one more plot which we may not use. This is a some kind of spam plot plans actually. This what we are doing is there is always some interesting debate, friends, whether female students are doing well in the education or male. But at times, female members generally have more concentration and more focus. Then we can easily see that in the engineering education and as well as in medical also, the reports are saying that those members are scoring well compared with the males. Okay, let us try to understand, because we are confining our debate to our understanding to this particular data. And here what we are doing is just math score and as well as the gender, and we'll establish some kind of the graph here. Now, surprisingly, uh, the male and as well as the female members both are doing well in the math score, friends. Okay, so you can see here. So just whatever the formats we're getting, so just very less members are there. and in female only just there some of the members scored 0 in math, and some kind of members are scored in math score. Their math score is less. But here especially male members could able to score 25 or from 30 range up to maximum. Okay, so but majority of members, both from male and female, just where we can observe that okay, they are really doing well in either case. Okay, and coming to the next one, we have seen some box plot here. So rather, I'm generating some box and plot, which is a slightly different appearance. Okay, nothing else. And here what we are doing is again we are comparing between test preparation core completion and as well as the math score, and as well as hue also we are pulling now. So whether males are more or females are more. So just you can see here the comparative analysis. So just let me run this thing so that you can easily take the math score. Okay, of course, the persons who are not completed here in the earlier example also we have observed that. So slightly there is a relation between test preparation completion and as well as the none. And based on this particular thing we can easily correlate between these things, and hue just it is giving the female members, and as there is a one more comparison because here we are comparing between math score and as well as the test preparation completed or not, and we have embedded this hue in the gender format also. So that is one thing you can grasp. Okay, now friends, sometimes there is a chance of joining various things. Maybe up to now we have seen some plots with hue or observation, but sometimes there is out of curiosity some of the members can they may want to join different kinds of the plots which are nothing but the comparison plots. Like I want to compare between these, like the math score and as well as the reading score along with the gender. Okay, now we are joining this particular plot. Basically, if you use the joint plot, just it is giving you this kind of the narration. So your reading score and as well as the math score, obviously there is a correlation, friends. Math score is increasing, obviously reading score is increasing. Some kind of the correlation is there. And thereafter, both male and female are doing, but female are they have scored little bit less. In the earlier graph also, we could able to see that. In fact, we have seen that and concluded only females are getting lower marks. Some of the females are scoring lower marks, but whereas our male guys are doing really good in this respect, especially in this particular data set. Okay. Now, the most importantly, if I'm changing, okay, so kind of the plot regression, what do you mean by regression, friends? We have seen simple multiple linear regression. Regression is nothing but which is used to establish a kind of the relationship between the variables, maybe salary and as well as the experience. Okay, so those kind of thing. Now what we are doing is we both the math score and as well as the reading score here as usual, but the kind of the representation we want is the regression. Okay, so at the moment you are saying that just it is a line drawing, so just it is saying how the appropriate values are distributed. Okay, so just these things you can see the same way, but only the thing is rather than using the hue, but I want to perform these kind of things with respect to the regression orientation. Okay, and this is most important, guys, because we were given some kind of the data so as to we asked to analyze that particular data by the team or someone else. So we are not having any idea about the data, but I prefer first you apply this particular pair plot, friend, because the main benefit of this particular pair plot is just it is making use of okay, the convention, like whatever the combinations we're having from the beginning of the session, we are seeing reading score, writing score, math score, and test score, test preparation course. Like there's some different aspects are there, and I want to get the comparison or correlation between math score and as well as the reading score, math score and as well as the writing score, math score and as well as the parental education. So all these things, if you observe, friends, a graph which is giving the combination, like let us start here: math score, writing score, math score, reading score, math score, and of course math and math, they are natural. And coming to here, reading score and writing score, reading score and as well as the math score. Next is writing score, and as well as a reading score. Okay, math score. So likewise, if I want to perform some kind of pair plotting, how a single variable is associated with all the other kind of the variables, I can see these kind of the plots. Now, surprisingly, guys, they are all correlated actually. If you observe any movement, reading and as well as the writing score, definitely there is a correlation, and math score and as well as the writing score highly correlated they are. Okay, just you can observe, and here also writing score and as well as the reading score. There are also nice, you can see a nice increase in this particular representation. Okay. Now, similarly, the pair plot. Okay, suppose if I want to add the gender kind of the thing also, yes, I can do with the help of this particular pair plot, friend. Just you can see here how the male and female already we have grasped, because if you refer this point, especially writing score, here really female are doing good, friends, compared with the male, but here equally likely. Okay, your writing and as well as the math score both are same, and here little bit again female are doing well here, reading score and writing. Okay, combination. Okay, so like that you can come up with a nice analogy. And sometimes we may not interested to have the all the things. Only I want to check a few kind of thing. Then I can go ahead with the corner. That is your wish, friends. And you can you want to avoid some of the conventions that you can do. That is all research you can do. But ultimately, this particular pair plot I suggest to you guys, because it is all compared with all the other plots. This pair plot is giving a fair understanding of how the data items are related. That is most important consideration. Once that is over, so just we are moving ahead with respect to some grid plot. So in the grid plot, I can apply the categorical plots where especially the data we know clearly there is a category kind of the data. Then the surprise here is you can mention X value, Y value, and kind of the data box and the row. Row means, so just how many rows, race, ethnicity means group A, group B, group C, like that we're having. Now you see here, friends, at the moment you run this thing, obviously you can see a nice pictorial representation of various diagrams. Okay, so let us try to understand this gender, math score, and here now we are not considering the gender, we are considering the group and the math score, and group D math score, group A math score, group C math score. The advantage here, friends, maybe we're having different groups who are from Nigeria, and maybe some are from Tanzania, like that some groups would be there. And which group is really doing well in what? Okay, because here we are comparing a math score. So how they are doing and which group is really doing well, almost all you can see from this diagram, especially in our data set, these all the members are doing really good. Okay, there is no low and all, they are up to the mark. So this is one more interesting thing, friends. Okay, now just there are certain options where I can see the gender and math score, box plot, and this time I want to change the row as a test preparation course. Okay, so just you can like that we're having the test preparation yes or no only, so that we're having only two diagrams, whereas the race is having some different groups. That's what we could able to see multiple diagrams there. Okay, so this is one more important criteria we need to observe. Now again, pair plot, the same we have seen, friends. Just how do you refer these kind of things? And there is one interesting point actually. Like I want to come up with only upper values. So in that particular case, I can exclude all the lower kind of the criteria. And one more important thing is I can map the lower also, whatever the values I'm having. Okay. But however, the most frequently used thing is a pair plot direct usage. And sometimes, I want to, because practically, friends, diagonal won't give any advantage to us, because I want to suppress that diagonal with the notation of the KDE rather than verifying, because diagonal means what exactly you can say here. See, reading and reading. Definitely they should be correlated strongly. Writing and writing, 100% correlation. Same value, no? X and X, Y and Y. Definitely they are going to correlate more. But I want to suppress those things. I would recommend you either go with this upper or lower kind of thing, so that they can suppress all the other things. Okay, that really helps us because there are various options and you can work on that. Now another thing, friends, here. After verifying this categorical and distributed plots and some kind of the bar plot and scatter plot, there are some other aspects are also there, like heat map and as well as the cluster map. Heat map, which is nothing but is a another version of the pair plot, friends, actually. But apart from that, along with that particular, because pair plot only giving the way of association, whether it is raising or decreasing kind of thing. But these cluster and heat map, they are specifying the kind of the correlation also, how strong they are correlated, how weak they are correlated, like that you can see in the pictorial format. Okay, that is one more important criteria. Cluster, guys, is a group arrangement, na? Similarities like clustering is a concept where you can observe is a group of data and all the similar kind of the items I can say as a kind of the cluster. Okay, so that particular cluster you can observe so as to identify the patterns or which are all the common things that were exist in the cluster. All those things can be observed. This time we are taking one more table, friends, one more country information. So I thought of relevant rather than taking the in the earlier examples, we have taken the office sales so as to estimate the kind of correlation among the aspects like features. If you see uh, the kind of the data, so peripherals and education level of the corresponding member, and is there any training, work experience, salary and sales, the on these lines we have seen. Second, we come across to the student data. There some sponsoring agencies there. With respect to that, we are estimated parental level education is impacting the score of the students, or whether the male or female are doing well, or these kind of the things we have seen. Now we are seeing with some country information, which is very interesting. So just this particular country information is having some details, friends. Okay, let us describe that particular data once we load that. So just you can loading of the data and you take this country, birth rate, mortality rate, life expectancy, okay, infant mortality rate and growth rate. So this is some kind of the statistics we got, and only the thing is just these kind of the informations are giving some kind of the statistical measures. So just what we are doing is this time I want to specify some kind of the information, because guys, here in the data frame, because this data 3, if you refer, let me show you something here. If I'm mentioning type of data 3, now you can see easily the data frame. Of course, we know that. Now, as a part of this pandas, by default, we are working with the indexes actually. Internal ILOC also we have worked in the earlier examples. So, but this time what I want to do is uh, rather than mentioning these particular index explicitly, I want to maintain this country as the index. Okay, that means country become now Africa, Asia, Europe. Okay, so Latin America, North America, okay, Oceania, and as well as the world, entire world. So these particular things I want to maintain, okay, because as entire world population and statistics we are having, and there are certain other countries information, so that it is always good to have these things as a index. Now what you can do that further thing is you can select a particular column information and you can put that as an index only for the sake of flexibility, friends, nothing else. Okay, just you can load this particular data 3 and just you can set index these countries as the index of that data 3. Now you see in the earlier data frame, we are having some indexes along with all the uh, features. Okay, now what we are doing, we are simply pushing that particular countries to the index notation. Let us have a look on that, how it's look like after issuing the command. Now you see simply it is becoming as a country itself is a index now, and so that you can pick up Africa, Asia, Europe, or whichever the uh, index you want. But this remains same, friend, 0, 1, 2, 3. that Python way of ILOC remains same, but only the thing is we could able to add our own kind of the index. Okay, just to go back, LOC and ILOC we have done in pandas, especially in series and as well as the data frame. The same conventions we are using here rather than taking the 0, 1, 2, 3 kind of indexing. I want to put this particular countries as the appropriate index. Okay, so now simple. Okay, you need not worry about the parameters and all. The entire data you can give to this particular heat map. That's all. Okay, now you observe here, friends. So just we'll try to observe what exactly heat map is. Plot rectangular data as a color encoded matrix. This is an access level function and will draw the heat map into the currently active axis. If none is provided to the arguments, part of the axis space will be taken and used to plot the color map. Okay, that means maybe you can give or not give, but automatically it takes. Like that, we're having different categories of things, friends. And out of this, we're having the annotation. This is nothing but optional thing. If true, it is also writing the data value, friends. Okay, now we try to observe this. What we are seeing here is a birth rate, mortality rate, and as well as the life expectancy. Like that, we're having all these things in the x-axis format and the corresponding countries. Now the how the appropriate values. Okay, 10 to 70. You can see the 70 is the highest value. Okay, accordingly, it is going to project the data. Now to clear cut to get the clear cut understanding, just to run this particular annotation as true. Now you can see, friends. Okay, so somewhere we got the appropriate relation high, and like that it is moving ahead actually. Okay, and growth rate and as well as the mortality rate, all these kind of the things, so that you can now we are having some certain kind of the correlation number also, so that one can easily grasp. So the important point here is your heat map is providing the appropriate information like pair plot only, but only the thing is it is trying to give in a different shades, nothing else, different shades. And one more thing, if you are referencing the heat map, I can nicely represent with the colors also, because I have not mentioned any color combination or any kind of the parameters, but I thought of using this thing along with the plot, so as to magnify the image. And we are having this life expectancy, because if you see, I don't want to pull this particular life expectancy, because if you see our data, this birth rate, mortality rate, and as well as all these things are there, and I want to drop that. Okay, because if you see this particular expectancy is at a different scale, or I don't want to put that particular thing in this statistics. Okay, so I can exclude that one. That is possible, dropping. And of course, axis one means the entire that life expectancy is going to remove from the data set. And line width, I can change the width of the corresponding lines, and annotation true. And C map, friends, actually color combination. There are certain color combinations. If you go and verify the documentation, we're having the possible C map values. So let me show you that you can use various color combinations. Okay, so it is providing some color combinations, and based on that particular thing, some examples are also there. So just you can make use of those kind of the examples, so that you can get different varieties, pivot tables, and even pivot tables also you can make use, friends. So by centering only one column, I want to I like, suppose I am having the designation as managers, and how the managers are managing the other members. I want to pivot them. I want to observe those kind of the things. Okay, so likewise, you can experiment, and you can make use of these kind of the combination. It's not a big thing, friends, actually. Only the thing is we need to spend to verify various parameters and all. And one more important thing is always these all parameters may not also useful for us. Okay. Now, one more thing, actually, the cluster, if you recollect and remember, this is something like the group of elements or similar elements can be taken as a kind of the cluster. And those particular cluster map, what we are doing is the same convention. We are removing this life expectancy, and we are applying the kind of the cluster map like this. If you see friends, it is an extension of the heat map. What it is doing is it is combining the nearest values, because similar kind of the data you can see. And again, the cluster map with respect to the other way, like I want to specify some color combination, all these kind of things, so that I can specify these aspects. Okay, so the combinations, the nearest values, how many clusters we can see here? 3 clusters. Okay, in this case, and here the fourth one. So simple. Okay, cluster 1, cluster 2, and as well as cluster 3, and as a whole you can see the combination of these clusters at a high level. All the values are belonging to a single cluster, and while splitting is starting, so just we are making use of some different clusters. Okay, so based on that particular convention, you can say you can see that, okay, which are all the nearest values, and which are all recorded by those kind of the conventions. Okay, so this is how you can refer the Seaborn kind of the aspect. Okay, let me give you the outcomes, friends, so that while preparing we can go through. So we started our discussion with the Seaborn library, and here we have taken 3 data sets. First one is uh, some sales data related to office. Second thing, we have seen some student performance in their scores. Third one, we have seen some country data, which is a statistical measures of birth rates and all. Now coming to the coverage, so in the Seaborn, so initially we have seen some kind of the plots. Basically, we have seen the scatter plot, and thereafter we have seen some box plot, and then we come across with the histogram, and then there is some kind of the distributed plot, and thereafter, friends, some categorical plots we have seen, and along with that we have seen some kind of the hue, which is very useful kind of thing, and you can use size also at times. And thereafter we have seen some swarm plot and violin plot kind of thing. Okay, these things also, and at times oh, sorry, ABC. Oh, this one is Gina. Okay, and H. Now, at times I am using the KDE also, so that to observe the format of the data, how they are distributed. And then most importantly, friends, this joint plot, multiple plots in a single liner. And one more thing, the pair plot. Okay, this is most useful plot, because it is trying to give all the narrations. And once this particular thing is over, uh, what we have done is we jumped into this discussion of the heat map, which is some kind of color combinations and all. There we have seen some kind of the annotations and all. Uh, and finally, we come up with the cluster map actually. Okay, which is a group of items and similar items can be observed. So according to your requirement, you can go and make use of these kind of the graphs. Okay, so it's not a programmatical thing. It's a your creative nature and all these kind of thing you can easily observe. So that is what friends related to the matplotlib and as well as the um, Seaborn. I will be sharing these resources with you. So just to practice and okay, do well. Okay, that's it. Let me minute, guys. Thank you.